All my dear students of class 8, once again welcome back to your chemistry online class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you have revised all the symbols, valencies, and you have understood the formula, how to write the chemical formula and how to write the molecular formula, right? Let's practice a few more chemical formula and one example to calculate the molecular formula, and then we'll proceed on with the chemical equations and the balancing. This is how we will write the chemical formula of this compound, that is ferrous nitrate. We know ferrous has, or iron has, two valencies, that is ferric form and ferrous form. That is ferrous form is having the lower valency, that is 2, and the higher valency ferric is 3. Here we have ferrous nitrate. So if you remember the table, that is, you remember the valencies and symbols, you can easily write. What is the symbol of ferrous? Fe plus 2, right? And nitrate NO 3 minus, that is, it has a valency of just 1. So now there are no common factors, you will just interchange the valencies. That is, this has a valency of 2 and this has a valency of 1. You just interchange the valencies. So what will it become? It will become Fe NO3. This will be treated as a single unit, so you will put a bracket around it and then twice, FeNO3 whole twice. So even you can be given the names, or you can be given the chemical formula and you can be asked to write the names. I will practice a few more with you. So this is given Fe and the Roman numeral 2 with Cl2. That means what? That this is the ferrous form. So how will you write it? You will write it ferrous chloride. Is it clear? That is having a valence, and chlorine has a valency of 1. Here this is the radical, ammonium radical, and this is the hydroxide radical. So you will write as ammonium. Here it might come in 2 lines, but otherwise you have to write side by side only. Ammonium hydroxide. Is it clear? So please practice this on your own. You can be asked to write the chemical name of the compound, or you can be given the, that means you can be given the formula, and the reverse also, that you can be given the name and you will be asked to write the formula. So how will you calculate, or how will you write the molecular mass of ammonia? So you know the molecular mass of nitrogen is 14. Only one atom of nitrogen is there, plus, make it more clear, that is one atom of nitrogen, that is the atomic mass of nitrogen, plus 3 atoms of hydrogen, and its mass is 1. So that is 14 plus 3, that is equal to 17 AMU. So practice this also. Is it clear? So let's proceed on with the chemical equations now. So I have told you that the chemical equation is the symbolic representation of a chemical reaction, and it is represented in the form of symbols and formulae, and the substances that undergo the chemical change are called reactants, and the new substances formed in a chemical reaction are called products. Is it clear? That means these are the reactants and this is the product. Is it clear? Then what are the rules for writing a chemical equation? So let's brief it out and then we'll take examples and then discuss. So first, what do? We write the correct chemical symbol or formula. We write the correct symbol or formula for the reactants, that is the substances that are undergoing the chemical change, on the left side, and product on the right side in an equation. And then what do? We put the plus sign between the reactants when there are more than one reactant, that is when two or more reactants are present. Then what do? We write the correct symbols or formulae for the product or products on the right side of the equation, and then again we put a positive sign or plus sign in between the products where two or more products are formed. Is it clear? Then the arrow sign pointing towards the right side is put between the reactants and product in an equation. Is it clear? So arrow sign is put between the reactants and the products in an equation. Now let's take some examples and practice it. That is the first equation that is given in your book, that is carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So I've told you the rules, that first what do? That we write the correct symbols or formulae for the reactants on the left side and products on the right side in the equation. So according to this, it is carbon plus oxygen. We represent it in the form of oxygen molecule O2. We don't write it as O only. Then what does it become? C and O2 combined together, they give you carbon dioxide. Is it clear? Now in this equation you can see when there are more than one reactants, we are putting a plus sign over here, and only one reactant product is there, so we don't need to put any plus sign in between. This is the formula of carbon dioxide, that is a single compound only. So in between the reactants and the product we put an arrow, which you can see here. Is it clear? It is a single headed arrow, straight arrow, as I had drawn this now. Another example is of zinc and sulfuric acid, give you zinc sulfate and hydrogen. What is the symbol for zinc? It is Zn. Then again you put a plus sign in between. The formula for sulfuric acid is H2SO4. Is it clear? Capital O4. This is sulfuric acid. Then what does it form? It forms zinc sulfate and hydrogen is released. Now it is not visible, it will be written in a single line only. Is it clear? So it is quite visible and clear in your books, that is zinc plus sulfuric acid give you zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. That is zinc sulfate and hydrogen, that they are more than one product that is formed, so we are putting a plus sign in between. Is it clear? Then we have the next reaction, that is carbon dioxide reacts with water to form carbonic acid. Then carbon dioxide, that is the formula is CO2 plus water, H2O is the formula of water. And what is the formula for carbonic acid? It is H2CO3. Is it clear? Then again we have the next equation, that is copper sulfate reacts with iron to form iron sulfate and copper. So copper sulfate plus iron, the symbol is Fe, gives you FeSO4, it gives you FeSO4 plus Cu. Now this won't be visible here, so I am writing in the next line. Is it clear? It will be a single line only, the whole equation will be written. So you can see the formulas of different compound, that is carbon dioxide, copper sulfate, water, Fe. Is it clear? Now you can understand how we have to write these. Is it clear? So now let's see whether the equation is balanced, that is whether the atoms of the reactants and the products, that is the number of atoms on the right side and left side of the arrow, are the same. Is it clear? So such a reaction in which the number of atom of each element is equal on both sides of the equation is called a balanced equation. Is it clear? So let's take another example. that is hydrogen plus oxygen gives you water. So you write, now hydrogen is written in the form of hydrogen molecule, it is not written as H only. So we have H2 plus O2 gives you H2O. Is it clear? Now which elements are participating in the reaction? That is hydrogen, or how many elements are involved in the reaction? That is hydrogen. You can see, first of all, name the elements. It is hydrogen and oxygen. Is it clear? Number of atoms in reactants, that is this side, these are the reactant, this is the reactant side. You check the number of atoms in the reactant, it is 2 of hydrogen and 2 of oxygen. And here the number of atoms in products, it is 2 of hydrogen, it is the same as the reactants, but oxygen is not the same. That means this equation is unbalanced. This is not balanced because the number of reactants, and that is the number of atoms on the left side, are not equal to the number of atoms on the right side. So this equation is called an unbalanced chemical equation or skeletal equation. Is it clear? It is called as unbalanced chemical equation or skeletal equation, where the number of reactants and the number of products are not, the number of atoms of the reactants and products are not equal. Is that clear? So what do? We balance it. And how do we balance it? We will learn today. And what is the need to balance it? Yes? So why do we need to balance a chemical equation? That is according to the law of conservation of mass. You already have learned about it, that matter can neither be created nor destroyed during a chemical reaction. It can only be transformed from one form to another. Is that clear? That is why I am again and again saying that you have to balance the number of atoms of each element on both the sides. The equation has to be balanced in order to follow the law of conservation of mass. Is that clear? So what happens in a chemical reaction? There is just a rearrangement of atom take place. That is, instead of the compound that was there in the reactor, the atoms have rearranged themselves to form another compound. Is that clear? During the reaction, which give rise to the formation of products. So the number of atoms in the reactants must be equal to the number of same type of or same atoms in the products. Therefore, a chemical equation needs to be balanced to follow the law of conservation of mass. Is that clear? So law of conservation of mass needs to be followed. And how is it followed? That the number of atoms of the same type of atoms in the reactants is equal to the number of products. Is that clear? Number of same that is the number of atoms of the same type of atoms in the reactants. Is it clear? So this is law of conservation of mass. So I have told you what is the need to balance a chemical equation. So first example I have taken again, the hydrogen plus oxygen gives you water. So I have told you that step number 1, what do? With number of hydrogen and oxygen atom in reactant and product. I have told you this is step number 1, how it is written, that is the number of atoms of hydrogen and number of atoms of oxygen. Step 2 is number of hydrogen atoms are already balanced, that I have told you both are equal, right? But number of oxygen atoms are not balanced. So what do? We multiply H2O with 2. Is it clear? So we multiply this by 2 over here. Is that clear? Now what do? We can see there that we multiply water by 2, and also the number of oxygen atoms are still not balanced on the reactant side. So step number 3, that is number of oxygen are balanced, but now number of hydrogen atoms are not balanced. You can see here it becomes 4, and here still it is 2. So what do? We multiply H2 with 2 to balance it again. We write 2 over here. Is it clear? Now what happens if we write now? That means here the number of hydrogen atoms have become 4. Number of oxygen atom are 2. Here number of hydrogen atom are 4 and number of oxygen atom are 2. So this equation is balanced. Is it clear? This is balanced. We can take one more example. So that is magnesium is burned in oxygen, that is magnesium is burned in air to form magnesium oxide. So let's see this equation also and balance it. That is, how will you write this? That burning of magnesium in air, that is magnesium, the symbol is Mg. The symbol of oxygen is O2. Is it clear? So how do you write the formula of magnesium? That is, when magnesium and oxygen combine together, they give you MgO. Unless and until you know how to write the formula, it will be difficult. Why has this formula been taken? Yes, I have told you that when we write the formula, what do? We write this is Mg plus 2 and oxygen is Mg minus 2 or 2 minus. So both have valency of 2. Divide by a common factor 2, that means it becomes 1 on both the side, and so the formula becomes this MgO. Is it clear? So you can see the number of magnesium, or you write the elements which are there, that is magnesium and oxygen. Magnesium is how many? It is 1 and oxygen is 2, and here both are 1 1. So what do? We again put a 2 over here, and we put a 2 in front of magnesium oxide, that is when we multiply magnesium oxide by 2, it becomes 2 magnesium and 2 oxygen, but here magnesium still remains 1. So what do? We put a 2 over here also, 2 in front of magnesium. That means it has become now 2 Mg plus O2 gives you 2 MgO. So now this has become what? This has changed to 2. Oxygen is 2 here also, and here magnesium has become 2 and oxygen has also become 2. Now this is balanced. Is it clear? Next example 3, that is aluminium reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to form aluminium chloride and hydrogen gas. So how do you write the formula, equation? Aluminium, what is the symbol? It is Al. Is it clear? It is Al. For hydrochloric acid, it is HCl. Aluminium chloride, put an arrow in between. Aluminium chloride, again I have told you how will you write the formula. Aluminium and chlorine react together to give you aluminium chloride and hydrogen. So this becomes AlCl3. This is not coming in the same line on this board, please, otherwise you have to write it on the same line. This is H2. Is it clear? Now you can see, if you write the reactants and products, there are 3. I am writing aluminium, hydrogen and chlorine. Here aluminium is 1, hydrogen is 1 and chlorine is also 1, but here aluminium is 1, chlorine is 3 and hydrogen is 2. This equation needs balancing. So what do? In order to make chlorine atoms equal, what do? We multiply HCl by 3. Is it clear? We multiply HCl by 3. Then next step, now what happened? The chlorine atoms have become 3 and hydrogen atoms have also become 3. Is that clear? Hydrogen atoms are still not balanced. Aluminium and chlorine have become balanced, but hydrogen atoms are still not balanced. So what do? We multiply HCl with 2. Is that clear? What do? We multiply it by 2, that is 6 HCl. This becomes 2 into 3 HCl, that is, instead of multiplying, or we multiply both chlorine, aluminium and hydrochloric acid by 6. Is that clear? So this will still keep it unbalanced only. So what do? We multiply aluminium by 2 and HCl by 6. What do we get? We get 2 AlCl3 and 3 H2. I'll write it clearly once again. So aluminium, I have told you that first we had multiplied it by 3. When we had multiplied it by 3, then what was the result? Still the equation was unbalanced. So now what do? We multiply 3 HCl with 2 and H2 with 3 to balance the hydrogen atom. So again it has been multiplied by 2 and here it has been multiplied by 3. Now you can see the hydrogen atoms have become balanced on both the sides, 6 and 6 here, but the chlorine atoms are still not balanced. So what do? Balance the chlorine and aluminium atom by multiplying aluminium with 2 and AlCl3 by 2. So that is what has been shown in these equations. So you can see after the balancing, the number of atoms of all the elements are equal on both the sides. Is it clear? So please practice it, and then we'll practice it further in the next session, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.